Yeah, it's your boy, Terrell. How y'all doing? Always like it's like the Two-Face thing from like when what was it? Tommy Davidson was doing it. And he was like, ah. I mean, that's how he also looked in the Batman animated series, but like the Two-Face thing, where like the normal face, like, what's up, Batman? Yeah. What's up, Batman? I'm wildin'. Also, what's up, guys? It's your boy Terrell. With another manic vlog, as one might say. So, this video's premise starts off mainly due to the fact that ever since I lost the amount of money that I haven't fully disclosed, but the money from a couple videos ago, I have not changed like my monthly subscriptions or payments or any of that. And I was like, damn, it still feels like I don't have a lot of money. And when I realized this, and it's something a lot of us go through, is that we sometimes don't realize we're losing more than what we're spending. And it's mainly because we haven't changed our financial habits. Now, obviously, you've been hearing through modern society and you've been seeing it that price has gone up for a lot of things, thanks to like tariffs and just in general inflation, regardless of tariffs, that shit has gotten more expensive. And a lot of us have not changed our buying habits. But we've also heard things about how this economy is too expensive in general, which, I'm not gonna lie, could still partially be true. But I also think there's something else that we don't talk about enough that I think is just as equally as important. It may not be that A, that it's just too expensive, but it could also be that B, you don't know how to manage your fucking money. And this is coming from someone who also goes through that same issue and currently went through a process of canceling a bunch of subscriptions and things that I pay for that I don't necessarily need to pay for, especially if I'm trying to regain funds. Because the thing is, people don't realize you need to make more than enough to save money. Like, I think that concept is completely lost on people. People are like, how can I save money if I need this to live? Well, that's because you have to technically make more than what you need. Therefore, you can save the excess. And a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us also spend money on a bunch of frivolous shit. And it's obviously always because of that whole balance. Something my mom has said to me, which has been helpful in some situations, but I also think has been detrimental in some situations, which is the phrase, I can't take that money with me when I'm dead or when I die, right? So I might as well enjoy it while I'm living. And there is some truth and some positive messaging in that statement, right? That don't just spend your entire life saving and hoarding money, because when you die, it doesn't matter. You never got to enjoy it anyway. So the point is, you absolutely want to engage with the finances that you've gained and saved over time. And that's something I went through. For a while, I was going through the motions and just saving money. And then I realized I'm still living at home and I have an old ass Chevy Cobalt from 2005 and it's like 2017. It's probably a time for me to lock the fuck in and then use this money that I made, which is when I went on what I like to consider a massive spending spree and bought a car in 2018 and then bought a house in 2022 and then spent more money to fix up said house in 2022. And that's where we're at today, right? And then I started taking trips in like 2019 because I recognized that I was saving so much. I just had an excess of money. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing with this money? Like, for a while, I could pay off my car. I remember that in 2021. No. Yeah, it was in 2021/2020. No, it was January of 2022. I remember this. I got out the gym and I was sitting in my car and I was like, I could pay this bitch off today. Why am I not paying this bitch off today? Especially since I'm living at home. I'm bullshitting. That's what I felt like. I was bullshitting. I was like, I've saved up like I think I was at a strong 20 grand. I want to say at the time, and I think the car was like maybe it's either four. It was either five. No, because I was like 3 years in. I bought it in 2018 and 2022, so that means I was probably around like less than 10 grand. I think I was at like 7 or 6 grand. And I had just got my income tax refund. And I was just like, Yeah, I need to stop bullshitting. Now, does it hurt to drop all that money at once? Absolutely. But hey, that car's been paid off now for what, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years, because I bought it in 2018, paid it off in 2022, and it's 2026, and I'm still driving it. So sometimes you have to kind of force yourself to spend the money. So I don't want to act like there isn't any validity in the idea that you should spend your money. But some of us have goals and things that we want to achieve and don't want to lock the fuck in to make those dreams come true or take this insanely slow route to get there. AKA like buying a house or buying a new car or like paying for like a new fix for the house or something like that. And what we'll do is we'll be like, well, you know, Netflix subscription here, Hulu subscription there, trip to Disney World over here, trip to Vancouver over here. And then all of a sudden we're like, well, God, why does it feel like I haven't saved any money? It's probably because you haven't. What you've probably done is all the money you would have saved, you've been spending on trips you've been taking every once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. Then you got subscriptions that you don't fucking use. And then all of a sudden you don't have any money. And it's because you've essentially spent all your extra money and starting to dig into your actual like monthly money through all this frivolous spending. As much as you can blame the government and like the economy for all the uptick in pricing, some of this shit as humans, we never really need it. Half the shit we do, we don't need. All the shit behind me, I don't need, okay? I don't need any of this shit. But I wanted it, which is okay, as long as I'm not out here complaining about me being broke afterwards. No one, I think, who was it? I think it was Boogie 2988. It was around the time he kind of lost a lot of his, I think it was like around the beginning of him losing a lot of favor with the YouTube community. And he had made videos about how he invested in the Bitcoin and made a fuck ton of money. He was rich. And then he made that like famous video, I think, what was it called? I Need Your Help. About how he needed money because he essentially bet on Bitcoin again, lost, and fucked up a lot of his savings. Now, granted, Boogie was probably a millionaire at some point, and for some goofy fucking reason, he still owes on his house. He still owes a mortgage on his house. And why is that? Because he did exactly what a lot of people do when they get a lot of money. They fuck around and do a bunch of miscellaneous bullshit without actually locking in on the things that matter. And so he made a video outside, I think it was like on his porch, talking about how he needed help and how he needed donations and all this other shit. And one of my favorite comments from that video was something along the lines of, there's a reason why he filmed it outside, because if he filmed it inside, we would see the mountains of gaming memorabilia and nerd shit behind him that he spent all his money on. No one is going to feel sorry for your financial decisions if you got shit like this behind you. And they realistically shouldn't anyway, because you can't sit there and talk about being broke and you got other things you could do. A lot of people get on these sites and act like they're poor and they don't have any money, while also indulging in shit that they could easily don't need, but they want to because they want to maintain a lifestyle. And that's really where a lot of our problems go with in money in general. Even when we get new jobs or we get raises or we just get making more money in some way, shape, or form, maybe through a second business or something. What we tend to do is that money increase is great, but we'll undercut it by either A, increasing our quality of life at the same time, so it doesn't really make a fucking difference, or we'll buy some shit that undercuts it entirely, or create a new bill that undercuts it entirely. I was talking to my coworker about this, because we were like, oh, well, what if you made X amount of money? We were talking about like salaries and stuff. And I said, what if you made an extra 30 grand? He's like, oh, I'd be fine. But I said, but be warned, it won't feel like an extra 30 grand because his goal is to buy a house. So if you made an extra 30 grand, it's not like you just gonna pocket 30 grand. The only way that would work is if you stayed in the same position you are right now and made that extra 30 grand. But he was like, I would definitely use that money to go ahead and buy me a house. Cool. Now it won't feel like a raise. And that's just the reality of the situation. The raise won't feel like a raise in the traditional sense, because you then took the money to create more debt to increase your quality of life. So theoretically, you made the money and you're getting something out of the money, but it won't really feel like that on a month-to-month basis because you increased the shit. The only way a raise truly feels like a raise, which is why I told him, I said, for me, an extra 30 grand would definitely feel like a raise. Why? Because I already bought the house. So my month to month, I would feel the full effects of the extra 30 grand, whereas he would be jumping into a new house. It wouldn't feel nearly as big for him because although you're in a new place, you're not making as much money as you feel like it. The reality is more money only feels like more money if you don't move. If you don't move, you will feel the full effects of, hey, I got a bunch of extra money. And what a lot of people will do is usually when shit like that happens, they get fucking excited and they're like, I'm about to jump up with this shit. And then you're like, well, damn, where's my raise gone? Well, your raise is still there. You used it on the new shit you wanted, whether it was a new car, a house, some sort of like major thing you just wanted to buy. Like people who buy like $3,000 PCs and your bonus was like $3,500. Well, damn, I only really got $500 extra dollars. Well, yeah, because you bought the new PC. Like, you can't jump up higher than what the bonus inquires or what the extra money inquires. And then on top of that, we also, like I said, we spend money on frivolous shit all the time. Gaming, anime being gaming, anime, and technology being my three biggest vices, which, as a lot of you would know, is pretty fucking expensive. Like, if I want to be objective here, I have a Switch 2. The PlayStation 5 was a gift, but I do have an Xbox Series X and I have a gaming PC. Just between those three things in themselves is like $3 grand. Because I think it was $500 for the Xbox, $500 for the Switch 2 because I got the Mario Kart bundle. And then I think the PC was like $2 grand. I've spent $3 grand on just frivolous shit. And behind me, this is probably at least this and all the other anime storage I have. I've probably spent thousands of dollars in bullshit. Which is why I was such a big stickler about not asking people for help when I got scammed. Because it's not like I can't make the money. I just got to cut down on the bullshit. And a lot of us don't want to cut down on the bullshit because we're like, life is hard and we need some of this. And I absolutely agree. You need to be able to enjoy the money you make, not just the fucking, hey, I'm going to, hey, I got to go to work, make the money. It goes to grocery and it goes to bills and that's it, right? You got to have some little peace for yourself. Now, a lot of us would say there is peace you can obtain for free and you don't have to fucking go out here and spend all this money, which is true. But let's be real here. It's 2026. Almost everything costs money and you should be able to spend some of your money on yourself. The problem is we get greedy. Like, as much as people may not like him, Caleb Hammer has a lot of guests on his show who are literally those type of people. Well, I want to enjoy the money that I made. Yeah, but now your daughter has to have a college fund. Like, there's a balance that I think a lot of people don't realize or don't care about, which is in between making a lot of fucking money and also being able to survive properly and also being able to enjoy some of the extra money you made. And where the balance usually tips over is that people will take their personal enjoyment and tick it above everything else. Because obviously the people on Caleb Hammer's show are people who have upticked their personal happiness over the house and the bills and everything else. And now the things that have fallen to the wayside is either your job isn't making enough to support the lifestyle you really want to have, or you have now got back on, you've fallen off on your bills because you put your personal enjoyment over basic things like rent, electricity, lights and shit. And now you got a bunch of bum ass motherfuckers on food stamps, not because they don't make money, but because they can't manage their money well. I think honestly, in reality, in modern society, I think financial literacy is probably the most important thing that needs to be taught. Do not spend money you don't fucking have. And always take out your necessary payments before you do any fuck arounding. And then people use credit cards as buffers, which is just allowing these companies to make a fuck ton of money off of you in interest. And then of course your fucking credit is fucked up, so you can't even buy anything without getting into an insane amount of debt. Mainly because and I think originally this was mainly incentivized for you not to do that. And a lot of people go, well, when I'm dead, I won't matter. Yeah, but most of you fuckers aren't 50 or 60 or 80 or 90 to be out here making claims like that. You're in your 20s and 30s. If we're talking about logistic life expectancy, you got at least a good 40 to 50 years of like natural life to live. And guess what? You might spend a good chunk of that bitch homeless or in somebody else's house because you out here fucking around with personal enjoyment. It's crazy how many like YouTube or personal people's lives I've seen get ruined because you're just bad with your money. We have YouTubers who have made millions of dollars who are somehow in debt, which then makes me go, then the issue was never the fact that you didn't have money. And I think that's the fact for a lot of people, actually. I think the reality is a lot of people who make money, who make millions of dollars of money, are bad with their money. Hence why they never keep that shit, or they're still in debt when they lose that shit. You can lose $1 million, but if I own a handful of properties and now I'm just working to pay off general like electricity, water, gas type of expenses, cable, internet, whatever, that makes fucking sense. But what's really happening is that people will get millions of dollars and somehow still not have a place locked down to live. If you're making over $1 million, you should be able to buy a house anywhere in this country. Why the fuck are you still renting anything? Oh, it's because you can't fucking afford it. Or you buy expensive houses, but you can't afford any of the amenities. This is why I don't understand motherfuckers who buy mansions and then somehow think that your monthly electric bill is going to be $100 or $200. Bitch, you have 12 rooms in this bitch. You think your appliance bill is only you think your electricity bill is only gonna be $200? No, that bitch is probably gonna be like $1,000. But the logistics aren't mathing because people care more about the idea of having a mansion than you do about the logistics of owning a mansion. Or like owning a pool or a fucking bowling alley or all this other goofy shit in a house. That's why half of these houses don't ever sell for what you bought them for, because there's a bunch of frivolous shit that you have to maintain, and anyone who's smart is looking at that and going, fuck you, that's too expensive, and the monthly bill will be ridiculous. Not only do I have to spend $1 million just to own this house, I have to spend at least probably somewhere between 5 to 10 grand just to maintain this house. Fuck you, not doing that. Hence why those houses never sell well. You got all these custom houses, but people get greedy and excited and they don't know how to manage their expectations. I would lease a house like that if I wanted something like that. And I would only lease it for maybe like a month or so. And I would have to be in a city or a state that I don't currently live in. If I live at that house, it'd be different. Like my main house should be somewhere affordable and it should be a manageable house. I get that people want to enjoy their money. I want to go bowling. I want to go eat out. I want to go fucking buy the newest game. I want to go buy the newest clothes. I want to buy me a new outfit. I want to buy me some new shoes. I want to get me a new haircut. Like some of these things you can play around with in your finances, but I think a lot of Americans specifically just want to get everything because we offer so fucking much. The assumption is if you're not doing at least a third of those things, then you're missing out. And what people don't realize is you're broke. You don't have any money. So why are you going out of your way to indulge in all this shit you can't afford? The love of the game doesn't mean nothing if you're in your 20s and you have no money and then you can't live anywhere. And now you're just a homeless person doing TikTok dances, trying to get a bit and a donation. That's great. I smacked my mic. Probably means it's time for me to end because I'm getting heated and it's a problem. So I'm going to chill out. Long story short is, it's not that you don't make enough money. It's not that the economy's too high. You're just bad at balancing your funds. There's literally a difference between fun and responsibilities. And motherfuckers cannot lock in and recognize that the responsibilities trump the fun. But that doesn't mean you can't have some. You just can't have as much as maybe you want to. And if you want to have more fun, make more money for the fun. But this doesn't move. The responsibility doesn't move. Or make it where your responsibilities don't cost so fucking much. Like, paying off your car, paying off your house, killing out bills that will never come back to hit you because they're one-time bills. Get them bitches out of here. But until you do that, this is your line. This is the line that everyone should be following. If your bills equal up to $1,300 a month, I don't care what else you do, you cannot spend more. You have to leave at least $1,300 in the bank so that you can live and survive normally. This should also include groceries, because fucking groceries, food to eat. Everything else, have fun with. Fuck around. But the responsibilities, gas, all that other shit, mortgage, rent, don't move this hand. But I want to go to Disneyland. I need a Hulu subscription. New Marvel movies coming out on Disney Plus. I want to go to the Bahamas. Bitch. Put the goddamn bag. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. This has been another manic vlog from your boy Terrell, and I will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh. Yo. Yo. Yeah.